What up, everybody? It's your boy DFS Up North here with another DFS Army Dead by Noon PGA podcast. This week we are heading south of the border to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico Open at Vidante Vallarte. Trying to get it right here, but this is the John Ram Open essentially. So let's get to it. What up, everybody? As I said, we are at the Mexico Open, aka the John Rahm Open, where he won last year. Not Puerto Vallarta. We are in Nuevo Vallarta. For the Mexico Open. Again, I am Josh Thomas, aka DFS Up North, here with DFS Army, talking about the Mexico Open. So, like I said, here, let's buckle up, grab a marg, and talk about the course. So, we're in Nuevo Vallarta this week for the Mexico Open, and the field kind of sucks. We have 3 players in the top 50 of the rankings, and John Rahm is essentially like a 2-1 favorite, which is insane. I believe my colleague Taco said that this is the first time that they've had or the lowest odds for a player to win since DK started offering golf odds back in 2015, which if there's somebody that would know that, it would be my boy Taco. This is a classic Greg Norman design, Vidante Vallarte. And it is an interesting course, all right? Really, this is a bomber's paradise, okay? Big, wide fairways. The rough is passable, sticky, but not super penal. It's not going to be very long. There's some water hazards. You got to be mindful of them. Big greens, fairly easy to hit. There's some bunkering here, and the wind in the afternoon is going to be important for showdowns, but for the most part, the way that you attack this course is you're going to hit it long, you're going to go find it, you're going to hit it on the green, you're going to make a putt. I don't think we'll see like a super low score here. I want to say Rahm was minus 17 last year, but it's gettable. All right. Par 71, 74, 56, lots of long irons here. We're going to see more 200-yard iron shots than we are really used to. Okay. Some of the keys to success, right? We want to get guys who can drive the ball long off the tee. Straight is an advantage, but this is a course where the accuracy I don't think really matters. Just hit it long, get it out there, figure it out from there. If you're good on the iron with your irons, you're going to be in good shape. And then strokes game, putting, scrambling, that short game, it's tough to get a read on, but you got to make some putts. Really, that's what it came down to for Kurt Kitayama here last year. We can see the leaderboard. Kitayama with that 70 on Sunday. 68 on Sunday, just didn't make a putt. He had opportunities to take down Rahm, just couldn't make a putt all day. Brandon Wu and Tony Finau finished with 63s to really get themselves in the mix. But again, when we look at this, what does it tell you? Bombers. Right? So you can get hot here, but it's not you see most of these scores, 64, 66, 68, 69. Rahm started out hot and just kind of hung on. Kitayama, 64, 70, 66, 68. Right? So here's the deal. For me, what am I going to emphasize this week? I'm going to look at course fit. Who fits that mold of, really I want a guy who's a bomber who can putt. Looking for value, low ownership. I want to emphasize recent form, who's playing well. And really that's sort of my strategy every week. But I think at a week where we don't have a ton of data on the course, it makes even more sense. I'd be remiss to mention, I got the millionaire thing in the background. Guys, if you are not a DFS Army VIP, what are you doing? And this is where I wanted to come to. This is just under a month ago. A couple weeks ago, guy crushed it in NASCAR. They smashed again this weekend. I saw Taco and Geek were crushing it. So while I love baseball, you love baseball, I love hockey. We're in the playoffs right now. Some of these niche sports, it's not really a niche sport, but NASCAR, our guys at DFS Army crush week in and week out. If you are MMEing NASCAR and you are not a DFS Army VIP, you are wasting money. These guys smash every single week. So again, DFS Army VIP, you can use that code Up North, gets 10% off. So we know a little bit about the course, right? It's a bomber's paradise, right? So where am I going here with my plays this week? All right. So for me, again, the big question comes down to, I think, John Rahm, right? What do we do with John Rahm? He's only 12,000. That's not that expensive. One of our VIPs pointed out today that that's only $200 more than when he was at the Players, obviously, and this is a much weaker field. He's much more likely to win. I wrote in my notes, here's the deal. I am not going to make a decision, mostly because I'm kind of a baby. But the other reason is that I think that a letdown is coming. That's scary. But I think that a letdown is coming at some point. And it could be here. I wish he was like 13,000. That would keep the ownership down and I could make a stand one way or the other. But as it is, I'm probably going to be right at about field average, which I'm guessing is going to be around 20%. I'd like to maybe be a little bit under that, but oh man, my internet is slow today. But yeah, really where I'm gonna go this week, or what I'm thinking of doing, yeah, we can see Rom there, like insane, and I really do like we project him so well, 108.5 fantasy points, which is bonkers, right? But where I'm gonna go this week instead of chasing the Rom, even really chasing the Phenom, is I am going to try to hammer this 9 and 8K range, and even if John Rahm wins, I think there's potential this week that this mid-tier gets 5-6 guys in the top 10, right? So while it's just as easy for the top end guys to smash, I think there is a big enough gap here in the 9K, especially in the 9K range compared to like bottom 7K, that that's sort of the path I'm gonna take this week. Is I'm gonna hammer this mid tier, be at the field or a little underweight on Rom, and I'm gonna show you how to do that in a second here, with like a 3 max entry, right? I'm gonna build some 3 max, but for me, it starts with a guy like Wyndham Clark. You can see his sort of. Let me zoom in just a touch here for you guys. So Windy C, 29th at the RBC, played really well last week with Bo Hostler, 5th at Valero, or the Valspar, sorry, 26th and at the Players, like bombs it, right? We can see that. Not super accurate off the tee. That's seems to be those guys can have a little bit more success here than they normally do. His iron game, his approach game's been solid, and he can putt, right? He can putt. That's sort of his go-to, especially when we see that 0.72 strokes per round on pass phone, right? Which we see here. I am really high on Windy C this week. I'm sure the ownership's going to be up there, but for me, it's going to be like a 30% play. I said I'm going to go back to the well on guys like Nikolai Hogard. Hogard crushed last week at the Zurich, right? We see him 28th here at Texas. We don't have Corrales on here, I don't think, Punta Cana, but he played really well there too. And has just had a ton of top 10s in a row. And he really carried Thorbjorn Olesen last week. Long, not accurate, right? These are the courses that these guys can contend at, because there's not as big of a emphasis placed on their ability to find a fairway. As we go down here, I originally had my boy Ben Martin, who's been really good recently, in there as my core play, but I ended up sliding on down to MJ Daffy. I don't even know how Defoe, like I don't know how you say his name. But top 20. This guy was just playing Monday Qs 2 years ago. So for him to be playing as well as he was great with Eric Van Rooyen last week, carried that group. I'm pretty high on them too here as well, or on him here as well. A little bit more accurate off the tee than some other guys, but really does bomb it. Can score, right? Will make a big number every now and then. But you see these numbers, right? He's just gaining strokes everywhere, which I love. So MJ, and then the last guy in here is the corpse of Michael Kim is back, baby. 46th, 45th, 5th. Played really well with Sung Yul No last week, gaining strokes everywhere. Over his last 8, he's beat 78% of the field. Off the tee, not great, but guess what? He hits a 307. He's going to be fine here. Putting, really strong the last couple of rounds. So I think there's a ton of upsides on guys like Mikey Kim this week. Again, not quite done with my sheet yet. I'm still kind of working through those bottom guys. So if you're watching this on Tuesday afternoon, right, we're going to publish it. As always, I'll have that cheat sheet up by Tuesday night for you. Tiers, showdown, all that stuff drops on Wednesday. Again, if you're not a DFS Army VIP, you can use that code UpNorth. That gets you access to all of this stuff. This is the research station that we all get on Monday nights that has all the essential tools and data and things like that. So last week, guys, we built a lineup and it crushed, right? My first look build in here finished in like the top 1-2% of everything. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the Mexico Open here, and we're gonna talk. There's lots of single entry this week. Oh yeah, we gotta go game sets here because I have no interest in playing. What's it called? Tiers. How do I struggle bus here? Okay, yeah, I have no interest in playing tiers, but let's see if we can find a classic 3-entry max. So if I search 3-entry, all right, so we're gonna build just an easy little 3-entry max here in the hybrid. We're getting $1,000 to first, $100 to 10. Like, I love the payout structure here. This is a good contest. $3, right? We're not gonna see a ton of sharps in here. So if I look like, yeah, these guys can't play these 3-entry max, right? So we have a better chance to win. All right, so how do we sort of differentiate with 3-entry max? All right, and that's a question that is asked a lot. All right, so we talk about where our ownership's going to be. All right, and if you're just playing 3 entries, right, which I think is a fairly common thing for people sometimes, I usually almost always build 3 main lineups. Man, my internet is slow. But yeah, I typically do only build about 3 main lineups, then I kind of differentiate off of there. But if you're only building 3, right, and I say my core is 30 to 40%, well, for 3-entry max, it doesn't work, right? So what I do is I try to get like 66%, right? So if a guy's core is probably going to be in 2 out of 3 lineups, I'm not going to run the same 4 core guys in back-to-back lineups, but I'll mix and match, right? And it might be that I only end up with a little bit, right? But I know that for me today, right, I want to be close to the field average. So one of my lineups is going to have John Rahm. All right. That's going to, as you're going to see here, going to massively change the way the lineup looks, right? So if I put John Rahm in here, can I get any of my other core plays with him? And obviously, yes, I can. But we're only looking at 7,600 for my remaining players. Now, what happens if I throw, like I said, I'm pretty high on my boy Mike Kim. Okay, that bumps me a little bit. You're living in this 7K range when you play John Rahm, right? If you wanted to get up and maybe get a guy like, what does it look like if you put Windy in there? All right, you're still living in the 7K range, but it's not as bad. But the problem comes when you get down here is this bottom tier of guys. Struggle bus. All right, struggle bus to find somebody that is halfway decent. So I do like Dylan Wu. That puts me at 7,500. A cheapie that I like is Trevor Werbylow, who's been making a bunch of cuts. That gets me to 6,900. So I can play guys like Ryan Gerard, Matthias Schwab, Hank Lebiota. Let's go back to our research station and see if. Oh, here we go. See if there's anybody down here. I'm at 6,900, right? Anybody down here that maybe makes some sense. I want to play Lucas Glover, potentially. Gerard's been better. He's a good value. I mean, that maybe might be the best play. Schwab is 161 odds, but man, he's been terrible. Cam Percy, no. Hank Lebiota, not great. Kadira, no. Garnett, and now we're getting into the point where I'm looking at like guys that I just have no interest in. Maybe a Brandon Matthews, Alejandro Tosti, Jose de Jesus Rodriguez. I do like him this week. I mean, any guy that walked across the Rio Grande and came to this country and became a professional golfer is a pretty amazing story. All right, we got to go back here. We got to go back and see what I can change, maybe. So if I come off of Clark and I go to somebody like, let's say I'm going to go to Few. It's me 8,600 or 7,600, right? Living kind of in that range. I do like a Will Gordon. That brings me to 73. Again, I don't love it. I don't love it. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're not going to build the John Rahm lineup first. We're going to build, and this is my mistake. I should have done this to begin with. I'm going to build my core lineup with everybody that I love this week. All right, my 4 core. All right, so we got Woodland, or not Woodland, Hojgaard, Defu, and Mikey Kim. Right now, I got to pull 2 more guys in. Mike Kim. All right, so I'm at 7750. If I went up and played like Aaron Rye, I'm at 6600. That gets me to Trevor, right, or below. But here's the problem: is well, Warbilo just makes cuts 10 of 15. All right, that's gonna be my main. Right now, my next one is going to be off of that. Right, so that was entered. All right, let's go back to my 3 entry. Draft team. Let's see what it looks like here. All right, now I know I've kind of played some of those guys. Let's go John Rahm. And now we're just going to kind of hammer this mid 7K range. I don't feel like I need to get a Wendy Clark in there. So I love Will Gordon. I think David Lipsky's a great play this week. I think, who else? We said we like Dylan Woo, Kenny Woo. I think Eric Van Rooyen's been playing a bit better. I think Matthias Schmid might be sneaky this week. Gosh, man, this field is tough this week. It is hard to build a lineup. We talked about, I didn't talk about Robbie Shelton, but I do really like Robbie Shelton this week. Who else though? Lee Hodges is interest. Oh, I really do like Steven Jagger this week. All right, so that puts me at 68. I can get guys like Dylan Fratelli, Brent Grant. What's Grant's recent results look like? I know I shouldn't be game log watching here, but 75-71. Played well at Corrales. You know what? Corrales is a comp course here. I think he's a good ball striker. Let's play our boy Grant. Oh, I didn't enter this in the same 3 entry. Whatever. Okay. Lineups. Entries. Which one was it? Wrong. All right, whatever. It's fine. Let's go back to the lobby. So that was my second. Now let's build my third. I want to get more of my core guys in this one, right? Okay, so I got to enter here. I'll do it in this $1. That's fine. I want to create a new lineup. There we go. Struggle bus today for kids. All right. So Windy. I want to play some Ben Martin. I want to play some Shiwon Kim. Not Shiwon Kim, Sung Young Kim. That gets me 78. Is there any cheapies that I can throw in here to get excited about? Vincent Norman looked good last week, I thought. Kevin Chappell's starting to play a little bit better. But let's go. We just looked at Ryan Gerard, right? He's not bad. We can play him. That gets me to 83. I can play Jagger again, and I can play Alex Smalley. I can play I do like MJ though, and that gets me up to 86, which gets me to Grillo, which I have no interest in. What about Benny On? I want to play some Benny On this week. That puts me down to 75, and I can take a punt on I do like Lanto Griffin. I like that. So right, that's not bad. I don't hate that. Let's look at these lineups. Okay, so the 3 lineups I ended up with, right? So we've got Clark, Hojgaard, Rye, Daffy, Kim, Warbelow, Rahm, Jagger, Gordon, Lipsky, Woo, Grant, Gerard, Griffin, Sung Young Kim. So a lot of guys kind of right around 33%. You know what I could do is I could run in, different. I could play Daffy again. I could play Michael Kim again, right? Like if I went Kim here instead of Lanto, then that means that I can upgrade Ryan Gerard by 200, which gets me to 71. So I can play guys like Cam Champ plays well here. Jimmy Walker is kind of on a little bit of a hot streak, but you know what? I don't really love that. So I kind of like where we're at here. It's a tough week, you guys. It is a really tough week. I am not. It's going to be interesting because those Ram lineups are sucky. Like I said, that's kind of why I'm going a little bit more balanced with my lineups, and even those don't look that great. We'll continue to break it down for you guys. Weather doesn't look like a big issue. We're going to have wind. Just what happens in Mexico on the coast here. But if you haven't used DFS Army before and you want to become a VIP, use that code UpNorth that gets you 10% off. Let's have a great week, everybody. Have a great Mexico Open. Cheers.